Previously on Weather the Storm.
Storm Prediction Center has already issued an enhanced risk for large hail, and they're saying hail larger than 2 inches in diameter is possible.
Nice.
This means we could have an opportunity to get this Atlas shingle and some very damaging hail in the state of Nebraska today.
Storm chaser Derek Klein is the owner of HailTrace Technology, a company that excels in weather forensics.
Really starting to rotate here.
He has over 20 years of storm chasing experience, including covering over 400 tornadoes and more than 10 hurricanes.
Hang on.
Atlas Roofing is a manufacturer of building products for the past 40 years. In this 7-part series, HailTrace teams up with Atlas to find out if their StormMaster shingles can truly weather the storm. Let's introduce the team.
I'm Derek Klein, CEO of HailTrace. Founded HailTrace back in 2010. Really, I founded it because I like to chase storms a lot, and I thought I could chase storms and make money at the same time.
My name is Paul Casari. Been with Atlas for about 10 years. I'm the Director of Product Management and Business Development. I thought that was laminated at first, and I'm like, oh shit, this might not work.
I'm Allie Burt. I'm the Executive Assistant at HailTrace. I also do all the photo and video stuff. I'm kind of Jill of all trades. Whatever needs to be done, I will do.
Chris White. I'm a meteorologist here at HailTrace. Myself, I just like to drive fast and get out to where we want to go. Can't stand sitting still.
And now the moment of truth. How well did the StormMaster shake shingles from Atlas Roofing stand up to this hailstorm?
All right, Paul, so we just got back from a significant hail event out in the truck chasing these storms. We were able to get this deck out into the storm, and I don't really know what I'm looking for here. So how do we know that this has hail damage on it?
Yeah, so the first thing you want to do is inspect the shingle itself. A lot of this damage you might not be able to see from the ground. So get a qualified inspector there to take a look at your roof. But the first thing that you'll notice are these white marks here. So there'll be indentions. This is granular crush, granular displacement. When an impact happens, when a hail impact happens, you're going to crush that rock a little bit. You're going to displace it. You're going to cause a little bit of a dent on here. And that's your first indication. You can always check the aluminum flashing or the aluminum vents in your home if you have those, and you'll see a lot of ding marks on there as well, which is an indication of a hail event. But go ahead and check your roof for these types of things, and that'll be your first clue. And then you want to have your inspector or your installer go ahead and pry some of these shingles up and look at the back side of the shingle. So when you look at the back side of a shingle here, I just have a fresh shingle here, but when you look at the back side, so you're actually removing a shingle from the roof. Looking at the backside, you don't want to see this glass mat here cracked at all. So you want to bend it a little bit, and if there's no cracks, then you're safe on there. If it is cracked, then you will get leaking on your roof on there. So we didn't take one off of this deck exactly, but that's what you're going to look for.
Okay, I assume that's probably pretty difficult to remove, especially with the polymers and how well they stick.
Yeah, it is. I would certainly recommend to get a qualified roof inspector or an installer or a crew up there to take a look at it, and they can tell you, and then they can help you with your insurance claim if you have one.
It's very interesting to see how it works and what a hailstorm actually does to the shingle itself.
Right. So catastrophic hail will leave bigger marks on here. So your average hailstorm, you guys know this, right? The average hailstorm is going to be your smaller size hail. And the Core4 Technology in here will actually absorb that energy, and it'll actually move that energy out like ripples in a pond. If you throw a pebble in a pond and energy goes that way, that's what happens here microscopically, as opposed to going through the shingle and then blowing the back out. That's what you don't want to happen.
So what this shingle is essentially doing too with that polymer is, and let me know if I'm right or wrong on this, so that hail hits and it initially makes an indentation, but it's almost like springs back out to where it should be, not allowing that glass mat to crack.
It does. With this Core4 Technology as well, with these polymers, it does have that memory as well. So as the roof heats back up, it could also smooth back out.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, so Paul, what's the difference in the Atlas StormMaster Shake shingle from other competitors?
So there's a lot of differences, but let's really get granular on this thing, right? So the first thing that we're going to make a little bit different is going to be the asphalt that we use in the shingle itself. We're going to use Core4 Technology, which is really 4 pillars of technology that we have built into this. We have Polycore, which is going to be your modified asphalt. So if you stick your finger in here, this is sticky and this is kind of standard. That's your Core4 asphalt, and that's your standard asphalt that goes into typical shingles. So that's really the science behind this shingle. It's virgin polymers that we put in here. So it's the next generation of SBS that you might hear in the market today of our competitor shingles. We call this Core4 Technology. So that's the science behind this shingle. So when we talk about our 4 core pillars, polycore, which is the actual asphalt, the modified asphalt in the shingle itself, we have flex core. So down to 0 degrees, and we'll show you this, it stays flexible down to 0 degrees in temperature, right? So typical shingles, standard shingles, will actually get a lot less pliable and they can crack in colder temperatures. And that's one of the concerns about installing in really, really cold temperatures. On our StormMaster shake shingle, you can install the shingle down to 0 degrees. This also has thermocore built into it as well, which absorbs the thermal shock. So imagine on a sunny day in Florida or even here in Oklahoma City in the summer, your roof is 150 degrees, you get an afternoon thunderstorm, it snaps that roof down to 70 degrees. Things move, right? So you want to be able to hold those granules on the shingle itself. When you stuck your finger in here, it stuck a little bit. Yeah. That's the power that's actually holding these granules on the shingle itself. And then we have weather core, and we talked about that as well. That's the impact, class 4 impact resistance of the shingle. And we rate #1 with IBHS for the last 3 years running, so we're really, really proud of that. This is a feature-packed shingle, and that's just our technology. We go well above and beyond that when we talk about the differences between our shingle and our competitor shingles. So really, what fundamentally makes our shingle different is we have features built in here for the consumer, right, for the homeowner, and then we also have features built in here for the installer as well. So just simply put, you can lay one over the other, a standard shingle to an Atlas StormMaster shake shingle, you can see the size difference.
It's a lot bigger.
So you're putting less shingles on the roof. So you're on and off the roof a lot quicker, right? And the reason why we do that is we make a bigger shingle and we have a 6-inch exposure on here as well, which typically all of our competitors out in the market today have a 5 5/8 inch exposure. And when you install shingles, you snap your chalk lines and you want to maximize your exposure, really to maximize the dollar spent on the shingles when you buy them from distribution. And by having 6 inches, you can snap your chalk lines at 6, 12, 18. Typically on our competitor shingles, it doesn't matter who they are, they range about 5 5/8 inches. So when you snap your chalk lines, when your crews are up there, what is 5 5/8 inches times 3, right? Too late, right? You gotta keep moving, right? So it's easy with 6, 12, and 18. You snap your chalk lines, you put it up, you maximize your exposure on there. We also have a double sealant line on the front face of the shingle itself. And what we have here is 30 anchor points that's going to anchor to the fiberglass to the shingle on the backside. That's where you get your strength from. So a lot of our competitors out in the market might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the backside of their shingle. And those anchor points, nails always back out. You ever had new construction and there's nail pops?
Yeah.
That happens on your roof as well. And if you have a nail pop on your roof and you break that anchor point, your shingle becomes less effective in wind events and those types of things. So 30 anchor points that's going directly to the glass mat, it actually becomes 1. So we allow out of our box 4 nails that'll give you 130 mile an hour wind right out of the box. Typically, most of the market there is 6 nails for a 130 application. We're 4 nails at a 130 application. Always follow code though. If you're in a coastal area and you need 6 nails, then you have to put 6 nails on there as well. And probably the biggest feature that you can tangibly see from a consumer standpoint is going to be our Scotch Guard. So the Scotch Guard is going to prevent those black staining and streaking on the roof that makes your roof look old and dingy, right? You drive through your neighborhood today and you look up and you see those black streaks, those are absolutely preventable. So we partner with 3M and Scotch Guard, and we actually brand this as a Scotch Guard Protector, and we have to follow a very strict guideline in the manufacturing process. We use 3M copper-coated granules, and we have to disperse and lay those copper-coated granules evenly across the entire face of the shingle at a 10% ratio to actually get that benefit of actually washing off and cleaning the roof. We have a true lifetime warranty against black staining and streaking. We are proud to say that we've installed over 1 million roofs with Scotch Guard and have never had a claim for black staining and streaking.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. And really, when it comes down to it, the homeowner picks what? They don't know what shingle they have on their roof typically when they go for a replacement. So they want to pick color. And if you pick a light color or even a weatherwood color, or a color that you're satisfied with that meets some sort of homeowners association guidelines, and it turns black over time, it defeats the entire purpose of picking out a color. So why have a color that changes over time? You don't want that. With the power of Scotchgard, the color you pick is the color you keep for the lifetime of the shingle.
So I'm more of a consumer when it comes to my shingle knowledge, right?
Sure.
And so I know when my wife and I, when we pick out, or when we look at roofs, there are a few things that we look at that are important based off of our knowledge, and especially being from Oklahoma, they're really important. And I think it's very interesting how Atlas touches on all of these areas. So when we drive through our neighborhood, we do see roofs with the black streaking.
Right.
And every time we just see loss of value in your home because your curb appeal is down. And that was really important to us when selecting a shingle was, I don't want to have these black streaks on my roof.
Right.
The second thing was color, like you said, which obviously you have, I'm sure, plenty of colors. You have a lot of color choices to choose from.
We do.
And then the third thing, being in Oklahoma, is we get a lot of hailstorms that would typically be significant for most parts of the country, but aren't significant here. And we didn't want to have to go through the roof process every couple of years because we have quarter or $half size hail all the time at our house. And you guys hit that with your weather technology as well.
We do. So from a consumer standpoint, you're a perfect example. We're going after those pain points that you might not realize at the time of purchase, right? So the Scotchgard protector is going to protect that color every single time. And then when you get into the hail belt, right? You're in Oklahoma City. You guys got hail, Dallas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. You know the Tornado Alley up there with all the hail and everything. So we're going to protect that with the Core4 technology. And you talk about insurance, right? That's really where the real value is. So with a Class 4 rated impact shingle with StormMaster shake shingles, you can go to your insurance company and tell them you have a Class 4 rated shingle, and they will give you an insurance premium discount on your homeowner's insurance premiums yearly just by having this shingle on there, because they agree with you. We don't want to go through the hassle of replacing that roof every time you have a penny or a nickel or a dime sized storm, right? We want to give you the peace of mind, us as Atlas want to give you the peace of mind that you can weather the storm on these types of things, and the shingle will last. You can get through, you can have a peace of mind, and you can get through a standard hail event, and you can be comfortable with this shingle, and you'll see your neighbors replacing them. And it's really the money out of pocket. It's your deductibles. They're always increasing. 2 to 3% of home value right now, and sometimes more, right? That's money you don't need to spend on a new shingle when you have this one that's gonna last through a few storms.
Yeah. Another thing that I think of, and this just coming from my weather background, especially when you were talking about, the flexibility of this, is, as we track weather across the United States, especially in the last few years, we've seen these significant blizzards that have happened. So we have brutal cold temperatures, 10 degree temperatures with 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. Does this technology, does it help in weather events like that, as far as like keeping your roof to where it's not gonna, it lowers the opportunity for a loss?
Absolutely. Derek, you talk about cold weather application. I just pulled this from the freezer. This is our Core4 Technology asphalt. Go and feel how cold that tin is on there. So you pull that out, your freezer's at typically -1 to -3 degrees, typically is what a freezer is. So even in cold temperatures, this still is pliable. It goes back and forth. You can twist it, you can pull it. And the real value there is that thermal shock again, right? It's pliable in cold weather, and it's gonna move with the temperature difference. And it really holds those granules, because when you get movement on a standard asphalt shingles, the granules might pop off. And you don't want to degrade the asphalt. So I have a great experiment for you. You have a business card on you?
Actually, I do.
Let's see what you got here. So I'm gonna stick this business card right onto this asphalt right here. You have let me see if you got a paper one. So I'm gonna see if you can shake that off of there. Go ahead and try to shake that off of there. It's impossible. See, that's the power of this asphalt. It's actually going to hold on to those granules. You're simulating holding on to the granules when that moves, right? It's moving, it's twisting, and it's not popping anything off of there.
Yeah.
So that's the value of this Core4 technology.
That's impressive. Broke my card.
I thought that was laminated at first, and I'm like, oh shit, this might not work. when you go from 32 to 0, you still have thermal shock. It's still cold, right? You go from 40 to 25, it's still cold outside, right? But the shingle has got to move with your house, with your deck. Everything's going to be moving, expansion, contraction, hot, cold, and you want to make sure that you're not popping off granules, you're not degrading the asphalt that's underneath these granules. That's going to give you your performance, long-term performance on there, as well as this double seal line on top is going to actually bond directly to the glass mat of the shingle itself, and that's where you're going to get your wind performance. You don't want to break these seal areas here at all. If you get that true bond, you get that really, really high straight line winds, you'll have no problems. Just have a real life situation for really the benefits of Core4 technology. We talk about cold weather application. Your freezer here is between -1 and -3 degrees, right? So I put a tin of Core4 asphalt in there. So go ahead and pull that out. Take a look at it, pull that out. So that's cold, that's been in the freezer probably for a few hours now. So it's really, really cold.
Like ice.
So go ahead and pull that out. It's still pliable. You can still move it, you can bend it, you can twist it. You can get fingerprints with it, and that's really the value that we're giving the homeowner during the cold weather application, as well as the contractor, the installer, right? It's not going to break on them. The shingle's not going to crack. It's going to stay pliable and flexible down to these temperatures, which you're probably at -3 degrees in your freezer here.
That's impressive.
So the shingles you guys have in the back of your truck now are StormMaster Shake shingles. They are Class 4 rated, the highest impact rating you can get. We think they're fantastic, but above and beyond that, it does get rated by an independent agency, and their initials are IBHS. So IBHS is the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. They are funded by the insurance companies. So your State Farms, your USAAs, all the big ones on there, even probably some of the small ones, fund this testing agency. And they test things from Class 4 impact rated shingles all the way down to skylights and air conditioners, and see how your home's going to perform in just different weather events. Because the biggest liability for insurance companies are the big ticket items like your roofing. So they want to make sure that, as us for manufacturers, when we go out into the market and say that our shingles are Class 4 impact rated shingles, that they actually perform. So when we talk about Class 4 impact ratings and the IBHS test and how they rank these shingles, what matters really to the homeowner is going to be that peace of mind, right? They want to make sure that they're buying from a company and advertises that they're a Class 4 rated impact shingle, that it actually performs to what they're expecting. IBHS does that on, like I mentioned earlier, on a grand scale. They do it all in-house, and they have their own proprietary system. And it's more like a real life event than it is if you would consider the industry standards of UL 2218, where they drop a steel ball, right? No one drops a steel ball from the sky. So the reason why the insurance companies are funding IBHS is because their biggest liability is in roof claims. So you have a hail event, it cracks your shingle, it leaks, you're going to have some sort of, the insurance are on for some sort of liability, right? They got to go in that house, they got to fix the drywall, fix the roof, fix the, whatever they have messed up in their home. So by having a Class 4 impact rated shingle, they test these products so they perform in the field in real life situations, and they will actually give the homeowners discounts on their insurance premiums if they have a Class 3 or Class 4. Class 4 is actually the highest rated shingle on the market today. So they feel good about putting their money behind a product that's gonna meet their qualifications and say, okay, we've tested it, it does work, we're gonna give you some sort of insurance premium discount because it works.
Next time, we set our sights on Tornado Alley, and our meteorologists discuss what it takes for tornadoes to form on Weather the Storm.
I look down and there is a funnel halfway to the ground with no tornado warning in place. I mean, it just has the classic, I'm gonna make a tornado look.
Oh, watch out!
Whoa, God!
Sorry, I just appeared.